So I'm Stuart Murgatroyd. I'm the CEO of Data on Demand. We're a data aggregator who process consumer data for debt collection, identity verification, fraud prevention, and also identifying vulnerable customers. Our USP is that we have the largest customer contact database in the UK, and we have a fair processing notice on every page of every website, which contributes to our product, which notifies the data subjects as to why we process their data. AFD provide an essential service to us that enables us to validate residential address data. Every record that we process is tagged back to a home address. It's essential for match rates that postcode level data is the best it can be for us. We see hundreds of different data. We see hundreds of different records from different data sources. What AFD allows us to do is create a single base format for all that address data. But why do we move from our incumbent? Well, we recognise that the accuracy of the data wasn't as good as it could be, and also the account management that we were receiving wasn't up to the standard that we required. And quite often the system that we were using reported errors and we needed to restart that system, and that wasted time. Quite often we would set big append jobs running, so big match rates running over the weekend. We process over 80 million records, and every single record has an address record appended to it, and that's kind of the baseline, if you like, of what we require. So we needed to make sure that data was accurate, the address level data was accurate, but importantly, we were running things over the weekend. So when our CTO and our CDO, our Chief Data Officer Greg, and our Chief Technical Officer Darren have put something together to run over the weekend, and you arrive on Monday morning and there's an error message or it's errored over the weekend, you've got people having to either work over the weekend or start things running again on the Monday morning, which certainly isn't ideal. So that was a problem we wanted to solve, that AFD have helped us solve. In terms of the process of finding a new supplier, we know people anyway. We've done this for a long time. We're all ex-core credit, so we know the industry. We know the address validation providers, from the Royal Mail right down to those service providers that sit in the middle and help you speak to that path file. So we did some research. We came up with 4 potential replacements and provided all of them with the information about what we needed from the service, and then we tested those systems. In terms of how AFD stacked up against the others, then high-level summary really is that AFD was more accurate, it was simpler to integrate with, there were better match rates, and it was much clearer to interpret the results. I won't name other people, but in terms of other people that we looked at, then it's much harder to integrate with them. The results were overly complicated. What we're looking to get back is that address accurate or not? And actually, we need to be able to interpret your interpretation of it and able to then align that with what we've got in our product to say, yes, that's accurate. We can be confident of that as well. And in some of the other systems, there were some obvious bugs in the matching logic. And one of the important things for us as well is to be able to keep moving forward, to innovate. And the API was certainly something that we were looking for from AFD. That was a prerequisite for us. I know there's still companies out there who just do things by batch, and you think it's a bit of a dinosaur. But we want to work with. We're always trying to innovate, and we're trying to persuade our clients to work on a real-time basis API. So we certainly need a provider who is providing such a service. Yeah, well, you can do things in real time. It's instant, and that's what you've got back. As opposed to a batch match where you're loading a 10, 15, 20 million records, you're passing it over to someone via an SFTP, you've got to upload to that, and you've got to go back, wait for the match, you've got to download the whole file again. So it's quite a clunky, archaic process, really. And the API gives us that real-time, instant result, and that's what we're looking for our clients. We do some real-time onboarding for some of our clients as well, and it's important that we've got the ability to provide that function through an API. Yeah, and it's automated. So, when we see data coming in real time from 3 or 4 of our providers, and we do get some bulk updates from some of our other providers, but we want to be able to provide the match to our clients as quickly as we can. So as soon as that data comes in from the loan applications that we see, it's coming in different address formats. We want to immediately change that into our format, and then we want to be able to enable our clients to immediately look and see whether or not we've got new information for them. For debt collection especially, it's about that first mover advantage and being able to find a new telephone number, a new email address, a new address as soon as it arrives, enabling the debt collector to go straight out to that individual and say, well, I mean, what they want to do is help that person become debt-free sooner. So they're educating them, but also enabling them to make the payments that they've missed. So it's all about real time. And in a high number of cases, that other provider did match, but it raised a warning because it didn't always return a UDPRM with the results. And of a sample record, of a sample 2000, of a 2000 record sample, we had 5 records where a different UDPM was returned. But in all cases for AFD, everything seemed accurate. The UDPM is really important because it just makes it simpler to make a match. So rather than having to go away and call different elements of the address, we know if we've got the UDPRN and it matches to the data, it's the same address. So it speeds things up. Um, in terms of what's the fallout if we don't have accurate information, we don't get good match results and then we end up making mistakes. At no fault of our own that the mistakes are made. It's the incoming data from the path provider. So one of the main reasons for wanting to move away from the incumbent provider was they really struggled with flats and apartments. And we had an instance of appending the same person to the same address at multiple flats, which caused us a compliance issue. Um, and sometimes until the problem is raised by a customer or indeed by a data subject, you don't realize it's happened. Once we looked into this in more detail, we found that they were mailing the wrong people at the wrong addresses, which is not good for business for anybody. It was an error, kind of human error, if you like, in terms of why that happened, and we were able to resolve it. But unfortunately, the resolution was we no longer decided to append any information to flats or apartments because we couldn't risk the information being incorrect for us and for our customers, and also for the data subjects as well. We've got to do our very best under GDPR to ensure accuracy. So it's important for us, our customers, and the individuals who are in receipt of the messages, especially if it's debt collection company. So the short answer is it's a real problem if the data is not accurate for us, and it's a knock-on effect of for us as a business, for our customers, and for the actual data subjects themselves. And also, I mean, if the data's not accurate, the match rates aren't as good. We're not getting as many matches for our customers, and they're not able to engage with as many people. And with the debt collection stuff, then we're not able to help as many people become a debt-free sooner as we could if we had more accurate matches. So in terms of working with us to get exactly what we needed, then actually 95% of what you guys provide was perfect for us. And we could see that. We just picked on a couple of little nuances that were specific to us and our requirements. And we went and Greg and Darren went back to the team over there and said, oh, we spotted these things. Can you have a look into it? Is there anything you can do? And actually very quickly over at AFD, they said, yeah, we see what you mean. And actually we can make a change here. So you guys made the changes we need to make sure that it aligned with exactly, to make sure your system aligned with exactly what our requirements were in terms of our end user requirements. So that was great. And there was no charge for that. It was resolved very quickly. It just seemed like AFD were really keen to do what they could to make sure that we were getting exactly what we needed from them, and that's what you guys have delivered so far. So it's really good service so far. We've seen some good match rates, so we're happy with it. Yeah, I think through the whole process actually of the test and analysis, Jonathan was certainly um, keener than anybody else to stay in touch with us and to have regular calls with us. And that's something that we're very keen to do with our customers when we're going through a test process as well. So I was really pleased that he was there and wanted to be able to spend the time with us. Um, and you know what, that certainly counted towards us making a decision to use AFD as our provider because I mean the most important thing is the data, obviously, but it's really important that we've got good customer service as well, because we've got lots of customers relying on us and depending on us to deliver a service to enable their business to work. So the problem with the incumbent provider was that they just didn't answer the messages. They just didn't pick up the phone. They weren't proactive. And we raised this with them and said, guys, can you give us a little bit more help? Can you give us a bit more support? Can you answer the phone? Can you come back to us within a reasonable time? Um, and it just was too slow. They came back to us eventually, but we're looking for a response within a couple of days and a resolution within that time, not a couple of weeks. It's the world moves faster than that now. So yeah, no, AFD throughout the process of the evaluation were great. The support was there. They made the changes we needed. They made them quickly. And since we've been in contract with you guys, then we actually haven't had any problems, which is great. Um, so if we do, I'm sure that someone will be there at the drop of a hat like they were through the process. We were able to access a grant from the local government actually, which did fit with this project we were doing with you guys, and even just down to working with the finance team and then providing information about invoices and other information we needed for the grant, and then actually being able to take a much larger payment from us up front and then restructure the payments into smaller chunks over the course of the year was really helpful as well. So I mean, being absolutely transparent, you're slightly more expensive than the incumbent provider. However, we certainly see the value for money from that, and it's not you're not twice as expensive. It might be a 20%, 30% increase on what it was we were paying before. But the other thing as well is we were able to negotiate as well with you, which is great. So everybody met in the middle where they wanted to be, and both businesses will see value from that and from a long-term relationship. So another thing we're able to do with you guys, which we like to do, is sign up on multi-year deals for those fixed costs. What it does mean is that I've been able to, secure a 3-year deal with you guys at a fixed cost with no increases for the first 3 years, which means we know where we stand. And as a small business, especially in the current environment where we've had our server providers change, put the prices up significantly, um, and other cost rises that we've incurred. What we're trying to do as a smaller business is fix those costs. So it's been great to be able to fix that cost at a price that I believe is good value for money. And you've certainly delivered on everything you said you would so far in terms of the support that comes with that. So yeah, we're happy with the deal we've got. In terms of AFD and recommending AFD, throughout our process of testing a new provider, then AFD were very, very helpful throughout the whole analysis period, even to the extent of doing some development to enable our systems to align with theirs in order to get the best results from the data during the test. And since we've contracted with AFD, they've been great, providing the level of support that we require and also a solution that delivers what we need. I think if I had one thing to say about the people over at the head office at AFD, it'd be thank you. We appreciate all your help. Really, really great. I'd just say AFD have been very accommodating and have delivered on everything they said they would. That's kind of a good way to summarize